Addressing the issue with homeowners is paramount when encountering unsafe electrical work performed by siding contractors. Firstly, emphasize safety by explaining that improper wiring and lack of grounding pose electrical hazards that could cause fires or injuries. Secondly, show visual evidence by taking photos or videos of the faulty wiring and damage caused by siding installation. Thirdly, provide clear cost breakdowns by detailing the labor and materials required to correct the issues, emphasizing that it's an investment in the safety and value of their property. Fourthly, offer practical solutions by suggesting options that may be more affordable or feasible for the homeowner, such as installing ground fault circuit interrupters or GFCIs, and using appropriate fasteners. Holding siding contractors accountable requires a multifaceted approach. Firstly, document the issues by keeping a detailed record of the problems encountered, including photos, videos, and witness statements. Secondly, contact the siding contractor by informing them of the unsafe conditions and request a prompt resolution. Thirdly, file a complaint with the appropriate agency. In most jurisdictions, there are building codes or licensing boards that oversee contractors. Report the violations to them. Fourthly, raise awareness by sharing your experiences with colleagues, homeowners, and community groups to educate others about the potential hazards. Fifthly, advocate for stricter regulations by lobbying local authorities to strengthen building codes and enforce them more effectively. Additional tips can further protect against these issues. Firstly, get written consent before starting any work. Ensure that the homeowner acknowledges and agrees to the repairs. Secondly, use licensed contractors. Hire only reputable contractors who are bonded and insured. Thirdly, inspect the work before payment. Thoroughly check the fixtures and wiring to ensure they meet code requirements. Educate homeowners. Empower homeowners with knowledge about electrical safety and encourage them to prioritize it during renovations. Electrical safety is governed by the National Electrical Code, or NEC, which provides specific requirements for electrical installations to ensure safety. When addressing the type of situations, it's crucial to refer to the NEC to ensure all corrections and new installations meet the minimum safety standards. In the context of replacing outdoor fixtures that have been improperly installed by siding contractors, several NEC articles and sections become relevant. The NEC addresses wiring methods, grounding and bonding, and the installation of outdoor fixtures. Article 300 covers wiring methods and general requirements for wiring. It dictates how conductors should be installed, supported, and protected. When finding situations where wiring has been extended with scraps of wire or Z-cord under the siding, this likely violates several sections of Article 300. Section 300.11, Securing and Supporting, requires wiring to be securely fastened in place. Randomly placed wiring under siding does not meet this requirement. Section 300.14, Length of free conductors at outlets, boxes, and conduit bodies, requires that sufficient extra wire be left at each outlet for making connections or repairs. This is often not followed when wires are spliced with minimal length to reach a new fixture location. Article 250 is the backbone of grounding and bonding requirements in the NEC. The lack of grounding is a significant safety hazard and a violation of this article. Section 250.4, Grounding, requires that electrical systems be grounded to limit voltage imposed by lightning, line surges, or unintentional contact with higher voltage lines, and to stabilize voltage to earth during normal operation. The absence of a grounding conductor means there's no low impedance path for fault current to return to the source, which is essential for the overcurrent protective device, such as a circuit breaker, to operate and clear the fault. Section 250.130, Equipment, Grounding Conductor Connections, specifies how grounding conductors must be connected to boxes and equipment. In cases where fixtures are screwed into siding or siding block without a proper electrical box, the grounding connection is non-existent. This section mandates that metal boxes be grounded and that a grounding conductor be connected to the fixture. Article 410 covers the requirements for luminaires, lamp holders, and lamps. It includes specific rules for installing outdoor fixtures to ensure safety and prevent water from entering the electrical components. Section 410.10 Luminaires in specific locations provides requirements for installing luminaires in damp or wet locations. Outdoor fixtures must be listed for wet locations to prevent water from entering and causing a short circuit or corrosion. Installing fixtures directly into siding without proper sealing or a listed box creates a pathway for moisture to enter the fixture and the wiring connections. Article 314 covers outlet boxes, junction boxes, and conduit bodies. These boxes are designed to protect wiring connections and provide a safe enclosure for making splices. Section 314.17 Conductors entering boxes requires that conductors entering a box must be protected from abrasion. When fixtures are mounted directly to siding without a box, the wiring is exposed and subject to damage from weather, physical contact, and pests. This section also requires that boxes be securely fastened in place, which is not possible when screwing fixtures directly into siding. Regarding the specific instances of siding guys putting a pry bar behind meter pans, this is an extremely dangerous practice. The meter pan is the enclosure for the electric meter and is directly connected to the service entrance conductors, which are always energized. Any damage to the meter pan or the conductors inside could result in a short circuit, electric shock, or fire. In this situation, contact the local utility company immediately. They are responsible for the service entrance up to the meter and will need to assess the damage and make any necessary repairs. Reattaching service drops with nails and rope is another hazardous situation. The service drop is the overhead wire that brings electricity from the utility pole to the building. These wires are high voltage and must be properly supported and insulated. Using nails and rope to reattach the service drop is not only a code violation but also a life-threatening situation. Again, notify the utility company immediately. They are the only ones authorized to work on the service drop. When speaking with homeowners who are dismissive of these issues, it's important to frame the conversation in terms of safety and liability. Explain that the improper wiring and lack of grounding create a significant risk of electrical shock or fire. Make it clear that they could be held liable if someone is injured or property is damaged as a result of the unsafe electrical conditions. Provide a detailed breakdown of the costs to correct the issues, including labor, materials, and any necessary permits. I emphasize that this is an investment in their safety and the value of their property. Offer options for addressing the issues, such as installing GFCIs to provide additional protection against electric shock, or using surface-mounted conduit to protect exposed wiring. Document everything. Take photos and videos of the unsafe conditions, and keep detailed records of all communications with the homeowner and any contractors. This documentation can be valuable if there are any future disputes or legal issues. When encountering unsafe electrical work performed by siding contractors, it's important to remember that electrical work is a specialized trade that requires training and expertise. Siding contractors who are not qualified electricians should not be performing electrical work. Their actions not only violate the NEC but also put people's lives at risk. In cases where siding contractors have performed unsafe electrical work, report them to the appropriate licensing board or building department. Provide them with documentation of the violations, including photos, videos, and witness statements. If the siding contractor is not licensed, report them to the state licensing board for unlicensed contractors. In addition to reporting the violations, consider filing a complaint with the Better Business Bureau or other consumer protection agencies. This can help to warn other homeowners about the contractor's unsafe practices. Advocate for stricter enforcement of building codes and licensing requirements for contractors. Contact your local elected officials and urge them to support legislation that would strengthen these regulations. By working together, electricians, homeowners, and community leaders can help to prevent unsafe electrical work and protect people's lives. When addressing electrical issues created by siding contractors, it is critical to focus on specific code violations and the potential dangers they present. Here are some key points to emphasize, referencing relevant sections of the NEC 2014 as requested. Firstly, unsafe wiring extensions. The use of scraps of wire, including zip cord, for extending circuits under siding is a clear violation of NEC 310.10.4, which requires conductors to be suitable for the intended use. Zip cord is typically not rated for permanent wiring installations, especially in damp or wet locations. NEC 300.3 requires conductors to be insulated. Using non-insulated wire or damaged insulation violates this rule, increasing the risk of shorts and shocks. Secondly, lack of grounding. The absence of a grounding conductor is a severe safety hazard and violates NEC 250.4. A1, which mandates that electrical systems be grounded to limit voltage imposed by lightning, line surges, or unintentional contact with higher voltage lines. Without grounding, fault currents cannot safely return to the source, potentially leading to electrical shock or fire. NEC 250.130 outlines the requirements for equipment grounding conductor connections, ensuring that metal parts of electrical equipment are properly grounded. Ignoring this requirement exposes homeowners to dangerous touch voltages. Thirdly, improper fixture mounting. Screwing fixtures directly into siding or siding blocks without proper electrical boxes violates NEC 314.17. A, which requires conductors entering boxes to be protected from abrasion. Without a proper box, wiring is exposed to physical damage and environmental elements, increasing the risk of insulation breakdown and electrical hazards. Fourthly, meter pan tampering. Using a pry bar to loosen a meter pan to install siding or insulation is extremely dangerous. Meter pans are part of the service equipment and should only be accessed by qualified personnel. Damaging the meter pan can compromise the integrity of the service entrance, leading to potential short circuits or fires. Any tampering with the meter pan should be reported immediately to the local utility company. Fifthly, reattaching service drops. Reattaching service drops with nails and rope is a life-threatening practice. Service drops are high-voltage conductors that require specialized hardware and insulation. Improperly reattaching them can lead to electrical shock, fire, or even electrocution. Only the utility company is authorized to work on service drops. Regarding homeowner concerns, it is important to communicate the risks in a clear and understandable manner. Explain that while the fixtures may appear to be working, the underlying electrical issues pose significant safety hazards. Use visual aids such as photos and videos to illustrate the problems and their potential consequences. Provide a detailed cost breakdown for the necessary repairs, emphasizing that this is an investment in their safety and the value of their property. When dealing with siding contractors who perform unsafe electrical work, it is important to take the following steps. Firstly, document all instances of unsafe work, including photos, videos, and written descriptions. This documentation will be essential when filing complaints or pursuing legal action. Secondly, report the contractor to the appropriate licensing board or building department. Provide them with all the documentation you have gathered. Thirdly, contact the contractor and demand that they correct the unsafe work at their expense. If they refuse, consider pursuing legal action. Fourthly, educate homeowners about the risks of using unqualified contractors for electrical work. Encourage them to hire licensed electricians for all electrical installations and repairs. As an electrician, you play a critical role in protecting homeowners from unsafe electrical conditions. By taking these steps, you can help to ensure that electrical work is performed safely and in accordance with the NEC.